Hello everyone, I'm Dilushi Vijayaratne from Sri Lanka. I am representing the International Society of Nephrology social media team for the World Congress in Nephrology 2022. And today it is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Roser Torra from Barcelona, Spain. Dr. Torra is chair of the Inherited Kidney Diseases Unit in the Nephrology Department of Foundation Puigverd in Barcelona. And she's Professor of Medicine at Universitat Autonoma of Barcelona. Dr. Torra was awarded her PhD for her research work in autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease. She has published over 100 articles, and she is coordinator of the working group on inherited kidney disease within the Spanish Society of Nephrology. So we are really honored to have you with us here today, Dr. Torra. She's going to be speaking at the pre-Congress Raising the Curtains session, where she'll be representing Western Europe, and her topic will be CKD of unknown cause. Can it be a genetic condition? So, Dr. Torra, could you please tell us a bit about yourself and what inspires you in the field of nephrology?
Well, first of all, thanks for this kind interview. I'm an adult nephrologist, and I've been involved in genetic kidney diseases from the whole my career. I started very early on with polycystic kidney disease, but this was followed by many other genetic conditions. And what I like most from nephrology is that it's we kind of act as internal medicine or family doctors for our patients. But on top of that, we are a specialist in the kidney, and in big centers like mine, we are a specialist in certain diseases of the kidney. So I think this is extremely interesting and a real challenge.
Thank you. Would you like to tell us a bit about your current projects, Dr. Torra?
Well, I have to say that I've been working, of course, a lot in genetics of course, these are inherited conditions. So genetics have been very important in my research for many years. Now genetics are turning somehow a must, something, one more tool we have. So now I'm especially interested in how to detect these undiagnosed patients where we don't have even a suspicion of a genetic condition. And my aim is to improve that by means of artificial intelligence.
Really interesting. It's definitely something that's up and coming in nephrology. So your session is really a special session during the Congress. I was wondering if you might be able to give us a glimpse about what you'll be talking about.
Yes, one of our concerns is that a significant number of kidney patients reach the need for dialysis or transplantation without a diagnosis, like a nephropathy of unknown origin, or using a term that we don't like, which is hypertensive nephropathy. And this is probably an incorrect term, as most of our patients, they have hypertension and they end up with chronic kidney disease, end-stage kidney disease, but probably not because of hypertension. And there is already some evidence that a certain number of these patients may have a genetic condition, but it is very complicated to diagnose them because these diseases are rare. So nephrologists are not knowledgeable of all these diseases. And although we have access to genetic testing, if you do not think it may be a genetic condition, you will never order a genetic test. And also in certain regions of the world, genetic testing is not available. So there is a lot to be improved. And I'm not talking in this talk on artificial intelligence, but this is one of my projects that I'm very happy to work on and to try to make things easier for people all around the globe, nephrologists all around the globe.
I wonder, are there any specific genetic conditions that you consider in these patients?
Well, there is especially one that is very common and very underdiagnosed, which is Alport syndrome. And this is because it can only be diagnosed almost only by genetic testing. So it's very complicated to suspect it unless you have a family history, but very frequently the involvement in different members of the family varies a lot. So you do not think on a genetic condition for these patients. They show FSGS or hematuria with mild albuminuria. So it's complicated, and unless we raise awareness on this disease, it won't be diagnosed. So I think it's important to focus on this disease.
And so I noticed that you use the term CKDU, and I come from a region personally where there's a lot of what we call CKDU, which is interstitial nephritis of unknown origin. I wonder whether you think that that too could have a genetic background, or is that not really your area of interest?
No, yeah, of course. Chronic interstitial nephropathy can also be of a genetic origin. In fact, if you have such a patient and you kind of rule out any cause for that, like say drugs, infections, urological abnormalities, then you should think of a genetic disease like MAC1 or UMOT mutations. And this is, they do not have extrarenal features, and it's just, yeah, you know, CKD with nothing else, or maybe gout sometimes, but many times they do not have that. So yes, of course, chronic interstitial kidney disease can be of genetic origin.
So do you think that genetics will be part of the routine workup of nearly all our renal patients in the future?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's still expensive, and it's still not probably in the regular workup in most centers, but I'm sure that in the future it will be. And probably we'll need to give some recommendations, not to do it to everybody, but to be quite, quite open and quite generous when ordering that. In fact, we think it's expensive, but it is also very expensive to have a kidney biopsy, to be admitted, to analyze that sample. It seems that we do not have that in mind, but it is also expensive. We order a lot of expensive tests. And so I think this should be part of the workup, definitely.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Torra. I think this is going to be a very interesting topic, and I look forward to seeing you at the pre-Congress session.
My pleasure.